Hi everybody, it's Kristen, and I am here for my week 16 update. I feel like I say this every week, but every week I can't believe that I'm already to that week. I can't believe that I'm 16 weeks. I should be having a prenatal appointment this week, but I'm actually going to have it next week because this week is Passover and our family observes Passover, so I'm not going to go into the office at all this week. I'll go to a birth if there's a birth. But I won't go into the office at all. So I'm going to go next week, and I'll have my appointment as the first appointment of the afternoon next week. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really looking forward to that because I can't wait to talk to my midwife about hearing the baby with the fetoscope and everything. That's probably the biggest thing this week is I've been feeling the baby move pretty consistently every day. Not as much today, but we've been really busy because the Seder is actually tonight. I'm actually stealing a few minutes from preparation and between classes and trying to just wrap up everything. There's so much to wrap up to get ready. But the house smells wonderful, and I think that everything is like at a relaxed, okay, everything is on target, on the right timetable. And we finished up the mama baby birthing call a little bit early today, so I have a few minutes in between it. But yeah, so it's just, there's a lot going on this week, so, and today especially. So I haven't felt baby a lot today, but like yesterday, I really felt the baby moving a ton. Scott and I ran out to make a last minute grocery run, and as we were pulling into the parking lot, like it felt like the baby was dancing. I could feel the baby moving so much, which is so cool. I still can't find the baby's heartbeat every single time I try with the fetoscope, but I would say like I'm hearing it like 2 out of 3 times that I try. So I couldn't find it last night or the night before, which was kind of a bummer, but then I had found it for like a string of nights before that and actually been able to practice timing it, which is something that I've been working on too for myself. In the office, most moms want to use a Doppler, so we use a Doppler in there. My preference is not to use a Doppler on my babies outside of that first time because a Doppler is so concentrated, and like 5 minutes with the Doppler, like I said in an earlier one, is the equivalent to like a 30-minute ultrasound. And even though, you know, especially for listening with a heartbeat, you're not usually listening for 5 minutes, especially with that first time you might be, and if you've got somebody who's not as skilled, you might be. So I just prefer not, you know, to use the fetoscope. So anyways, but the Doppler has a readout on it that tells you what the heart rate is. So you get a little bit spoiled, and it can be really hard to count a heart rate that fast. So I've been practicing with our baby, and it's been fun because first of all, I can kind of tell, like your ear starts to kind of hear the ranges when you've been listening to a lot of babies. And so I could tell like baby's heartbeat is about the same as it was in the office, which was in the 150s. And then, sorry, I have goats walking by my window. And then baby's heart rate, like, it's usually around that point. One night it was much faster, like in the 160s, and then there was one night where it was like in the high 130s, which is the lowest that I've heard it. So it's pretty cool. Variability is good for a baby's heart rate. So that was fun to listen to. But I think the most fun thing has been feeling the baby. I think I felt the baby a little bit while I was teaching the mama baby birthing call, but I wasn't sure, like I was yesterday at the store. But I'm hoping, you know, to start feeling it more and more, just because that's so much fun and it's so nice. One thing that I was noticing, I was thinking about it, that's different with this pregnancy than my last few, is I really haven't felt any Braxton Hicks contractions. The reason I was thinking about it is because I thought I felt one, and I was like, oh, that feels kind of like it might be a Braxton Hicks contraction, but I really haven't felt any. And with my first few pregnancies, I didn't feel any until I got farther along. But with my last few, I've felt like occasional tightenings, not like constantly, but occasional tightenings going here and there and here and there and here and there. And this time, really nothing. So that, again, was interesting to me. It's interesting. Why would it be different in this pregnancy? I can't think of a reason why. I wouldn't say I'm better hydrated. That's one thing in my last pregnancy, they started to feel painful, the Braxton Hicks, when I was like around 34, 35 weeks, and my midwife suggested watching my hydration. And so I actually started, you know, filling up my water bottles in the morning and saying I will get through this much water every day, and it actually really worked very well for me. But I don't feel like I'm drinking more like at this point in pregnancy than I was before, though I guess I could be. I don't think I am. So yeah, I don't really know, but it's interesting to me. So feeling baby move, not feeling any Braxton Hicks, being able to listen to baby with the fetoscope, that's a lot of fun, and things going on this week. I will go into the lab later this week, in the intermediate days, and get that blood work redone for the thyroid screen, because I'm 16 weeks now, and I wanted to go back at 16 weeks because I have lab values for my last 3 pregnancies, I think, at 16 weeks, at least from my last 2 with Corwin and Sadie. And so we can compare those values. Hopefully, first of all, they'll be back in the normal range, and because they were low, but as we learned with researching, that can be physiologically normal during pregnancy, especially because my T3 levels or T4 levels, I can't remember which one they test first. I think it might have been T4. Anyways, those levels were within normal limits, and so that means that it was probably pregnancy-induced low TSH. And so hopefully the TSH levels will be back within the normal range when I test today. With Corwin and Sadie, they were within the normal range at 16 weeks, though still on the lower side. So I think that's either just normal for me or it's normal for me at this point in pregnancy. I don't think I've had any blood work done outside of pregnancy. I've never had concerns about my thyroid or anything, so I've never had blood work done. And also, when most women go to have thyroid work done, they're concerned about low thyroid, hypothyroid, and low TSH would indicate hyperthyroid. So anyways, just interesting things with me. So I will have those labs done. So by the time I do this vlog next week, I probably won't have been to my prenatal appointment, but I probably will have gotten the results from the lab, so I can tell y'all what those are. Otherwise, I feel pretty good this week. I haven't gotten up on time every morning, but I have gotten up like as early as I wanted to, but I have gotten up earlier than my kids pretty much every morning for the last week, which has given me time to do my Bible study and to say my prayers and that sort of thing. And it's just really made a big difference for me to, even though I feel like, well, I haven't gotten up like quite as early as I'd want to, I've gotten up early enough to feel ready to greet the day more purposefully, more intentionally. Something else that I did this weekend was I sat down every year at the end of the year, actually. So I did this at the end of 2016, is I go through and I kind of plan out my goals. I have goals for different areas of my life, like, you know, goals, spiritual goals, goals as a wife, as a mother, and goals also for our business. So I do my brainstorming in a mind map, which I'm not going to go into that right now. But anyways, I have this mind map and I kind of plan out what are my goals for the next year. And then, you know, what milestones do I need to meet each month to be on target? So I kind of like reverse engineer those goals. And some of them I get more detailed. Some of them are not as detailed. I'm just planning out like January and February. And so with falling pregnant in January and being tired and getting wrapped up in life, I really hadn't looked at that in a while. So this week I went back and I looked at that and I assessed where I was, especially looking at business. I haven't done as much in the business as I wanted to, like with getting articles written, being consistent with the podcast, all that sort of thing. So I looked at that. Homeschooling has been somewhere else where I felt like I've kind of struggled. So just looking at all of that, getting a picture of where am I, what are my goals for 2017, does the baby change those goals? And that really felt good for me to do. I was worried that I was going to feel really discouraged, but I didn't actually feel discouraged at all. I feel kind of like, okay, it's April and I'm still sort of at the January point with a lot of goals, but I'm also giving myself grace because I'm growing a new human being. And so that's, that was really cool to reflect upon. And I have had some plans that I've made, like taking the baby into account, especially things that I want to do, like to be ready to take a maternity leave from the business, and just stuff I want to have like done for the baby, like crafts and things I want to have. Like there's a baby blanket craft I want to do this time and stuff like that. So just looking at those things and kind of getting an overall picture of where I am, and knowing usually I review that stuff weekly, and it's pretty quick because I'm usually reviewing it weekly, but I haven't been doing that, so it took a little bit more time. But that was cool. So I guess the thing that like I took away from that, and that's very much me, so you might not be a planner type person, so if you're not, take this at the grain of salt. But if you are and you feel like, oh, I've just come out of the first trimester and like I feel like everything just fell to pieces, or I'm trying to balance everything in a pregnancy, sometimes just stopping and taking your bearings can be really empowering. And I did, like my mom actually introduced me to the concept of a bullet journal. And I think I'm going to help Cassidy do one, like a hard copy one. But I use OneNote a lot on my computer. So I actually started doing like a little bullet journal notebook in my OneNote. And that's been really fun. It's worked really well for me over the past few days. And doing that kind of goal summary helped me to really figure out, okay, I can only do so much in a day. I've got to give myself a break. I need to have some time to rest and that sort of thing. And so the bullet journal helps me zero in on what I need to be doing. I just feel like I'm on my game a lot more, so to speak, which is cool. And I also feel like because I know what's really important, I can do those things and other things can wait, so that, I can like, so this is our bed here because I'm in my bedroom, so I can lay back and take a rest, and listen to my pregnancy affirmations, or sit there with the fetoscope and, spend 15 minutes trying to chase my baby around, or any of those things, which is the important, that's the important part of pregnancy. And I was really able to figure out like what are my goals. I've been listening to some inspirational things like for the Passover season, and just, we're messianic. So, just like a season of redemption, both from the perspective of the Hebrews, and a season of redemption from like looking at the faith of Jesus or Yeshua Messiah. And just like, how do I want to step into that? So that's kind of spiritual. You might not connect with that, but you probably do connect with like thinking about who do I really want to be. And pregnancy is a time of introspection anyways. So like just thinking about what do I want? How do I want to step into freedom this season? And for me, it's like to really be able to step into the joy, to enjoy this pregnancy, to like enjoy the days with my family, as chaotic as they may be, because, when I go forward into the future, how do I want to look back on these days? It's not that I was uptight and got everything done, but it's that I got most of what I needed to get done, or the important things done, and then I also knew how to relax and how to enjoy, just enjoy the fun of having a family, and a big family in my case, and then also to enjoy like the really special time like now with being pregnant with a baby. So anyways, that's kind of maybe feels like a little bit woo-woo, but if pregnancy is a time of introspection, so that's part of what I've been doing over the past week. I wanted to show you a couple things this week, and then I'll show you my belly. So one of the things, remember I talked about my belly being bigger last week and feeling like it was a little bit too big, and I try to give myself a break. Actually, one of the coolest things for me, because I did gain weight with my first pregnancies, but it was like gain it and then have the baby and it was all gone the next day. And that doesn't happen for me anymore. But that was really a challenge for me with my last few pregnancies. And I think one of the things that's helped me most is actually being a student midwife and being in the office for prenatal appointment after prenatal appointment after prenatal appointment. You see all these lovely, beautiful pregnant women come in, like some of whom are very pregnant. We're talking like 38, 39, 40, 41, 42 weeks pregnant. We've had a lot of moms go way past their due date in the past couple of months. And, they just, like, to me, they'll come in and they'll be like, oh, I weighed this when I weighed myself on the scale today. And I'm like, but you look radiant. You look so beautiful. You look so good. And I think that's been something that's helped me because, when I look at her, she really is beautiful. She's gorgeous. She's like a pregnant goddess. And it's just like, who cares if you gained 40 pounds because, honey, you look great in it. And it's just, I know it's discouraging in the postpartum because, again, I've been there. I'm sure I'll be there again in my postpartum. But it's like, that weight gain, if you're eating well, is nourishing your baby, is taking care of you, and you look beautiful, and so that has been helpful to me, like thinking, okay, I'm gonna gain weight. I might gain more than I gained in my first and second pregnancy, but it's okay because, you know, as much as I'll look at myself in the mirror and think, oh my gosh, how much weight have I gained? Somebody else is gonna look at me and go, Kristen, you look beautiful. And so that's something to remember. So I gave that kind of as a caveat, but hopefully an inspiring one. But the other thing that I worry about, like with showing, is I don't want to let a diastasis or a large diastasis develop, which is like a separation of the muscles. So if you pretend like this is a tummy, this is that center line of the tummy, you know, there's connective tissue that holds the abs together and it can get separated. This is not just a pregnancy or even a female thing. It happens in men too. And actually babies are born with a diastasis that closes. But you know, pregnancy can definitely stress it. And after my 5th pregnancy, I had a diastasis that was like this wide and it hurt really bad just because, you know, it was basically just that this much connective tissue and then all my internal organs and the muscles were like over here and over here. And it took, I didn't need to surgically heal that. It took work to heal it. I can put a link under the video to where I talk about healing it. But I don't want it to come back again, or like a, you know, a 1-finger diastasis or something that I can work on healing after pregnancy. But I don't want to give birth to my baby and be in pain, because when the baby's in there, it might hurt some, but it's like, especially once you push the baby out and there's a huge diastasis and then there's pain because everything just kind of like flops around in there, as unattractive as that sounds, and it hurts. So I don't want that to happen. So I actually decided to splint a little bit this week, which is not like, you know, it's not like a corset where you're attempting to make yourself look tiny. It's a supportive splint, like if we think about a knee brace or something, to help hold the muscles together and give the connective tissue a chance to heal or to get healthier or stronger or whatever. And this splint is this is Julie Tupler's splint because it's her program that I used. I have a love-hate relationship with this thing. I can't really wear it all day long, especially since I splinted from the beginning of pregnancy with Corwin because, again, he was number 6 coming after number 5 where I had the huge diastasis. And I just didn't want to take the risk. And so I splinted from the beginning of pregnancy with him up until like 20, 22, 24 weeks. I don't remember exactly, when my belly was just too big to really be able to splint comfortably. But I feel like it made a big difference, not only in my pregnancy, but also in my postpartum, and probably even with his birth, which was super gentle and super smooth. But I haven't been splinting from the beginning with this pregnancy. I didn't with Sadie's just because the diastasis wasn't as big. But again, there was a little bit of concern. So there's a little bit of discomfort because it does bind some. And I've been trying to figure out like the sweet spot on my chest. Well, not on my chest, but on my abdomen. So I'll show you. So you put it like so you put it behind your back and then you splint across. And I actually have it backwards. It goes like this. So the 1 is on this one side and then the 2 on this side. So you do 1, 2, and then 3. And, you know, you have to stretch it and you pull the muscles together too. So I'm not going to do all of that. But if I put it up higher, it makes my ribs really sore because my ribs are right here. And if I put it, but I feel like there's less support here, which is actually where my diastasis is. Like, I don't have much of one right up here, but down here is where, like I said, it was like 4 finger widths. So I want more of the support down here. But if I put it down here, it's just uncomfortable sitting, and I still feel like it has a tendency to roll. You have to adjust it because it'll roll up. And so, anyways, I'm trying to find a happy medium with it. And I can wear it like for half the day this morning with all the stress. It was like, okay, that irritating me is making me more irritated, so it's got to go. So I only wore it for a couple hours this morning. But I do feel like that's helping already. Like from a muscle perspective, though, you know, my belly still shows. So I'll show you my belly in a minute. The other thing that I wanted to show you was this book that I got, which is super cute, speaking about food and everything. So it was only like, it's a board book, but it's really meant for mamas. And if you want a fun read, then this book is super cute to get. The Very Hungry Pregnant Lady. It's a parody of The Very Hungry Caterpillar, but it's so cute. So the only thing that I change is because the mom goes to the hospital, so it says now the lady wasn't hungry anymore. She had other things on her mind. She went to the hospital, stayed inside for the whole day, and when she emerged, so I always change that. I'm like, she called the midwife and worked hard all day, and when she was done, and then of course she has a baby. But anyway, so I like edit that, and my Scott's like, edit, you're editing children's literature, but we have our babies at home. But if you were going to the hospital, of course it's perfect. So that was a really cute book. But now I know we're at 20 minutes, so let me go ahead and show you my belly this week. Like I said, I did splint this morning, but I don't know. Let me move a little further away here. So you can still definitely see like a baby belly. And like I said, I'm happy that it's more to the rounded point. And it's so weird because sometimes I'm like, I feel self-conscious about it, but then yesterday when we were when we went for the groceries, I'm like, I hope people can tell I'm showing. I don't know if it's because it was just Scott and I that went out, and it's like, you know, proud to be walking with my man and be pregnant, but it's just so weird. But anyways, I am happy that it's the nice curve. When I have the splint on, I feel like, you know, it looks more like this. So even with the splint on, I feel like you can still tell that I'm pregnant, but there's not like the curvy belly. So, and let me show you my actual belly. Got my undershirt tucked in, so. I know we've got like bad light. So it does look a little bit lumpy, but otherwise, it just looks like a belly. And like my fundus is like right at my belly button now, which is a little bit higher because that's supposed to be like about 20 weeks. But again, I'm 16 weeks and I'm baby number 8. So I'm going to say that that's probably within the realm of normal. I still don't have any suspicions about there being 2 babies in there. So yeah, I think it's probably pretty normal. And again, you know, the fundus, that's the top of the uterus, is hitting about belly button height. So it would be expected to be showing some, maybe not quite so much, but yeah, so the splinting I feel like is helping. Like my muscles feel stronger. I'm less worried about a diastasis doing some splinting, and I'll probably try and keep doing it for the next month or so. I might look into rebozo wrapping too. But otherwise, okay, I'm at 22 minutes now, and I know I gotta go teach a Smart Mama Happy Baby class after this too, and then we have to get everything ready for tonight, so I will let you go. I hope that you are having a blessed week this week. Comment and let me know where you are in your pregnancy. Check out any links that I share below. I would love to keep up with you and how you're doing too. So I hope that you have a blessed week, and I will talk to you next week.